My name is Cruiser on the forums. I'm the Conclave Minister currently. We have with us Katra and Dandro and Talbev. If you guys would, pretty please introduce yourselves.
I am Katra Stormreaver, and I am the Conclave Warden.
I'm Dandro Shad. I am the Western Regional Commander.
I am Talbev Stormreaver, and I'm the current Rukabor for the Western Region.
Right. Forums are huge. That you can't be an official member without signing up for a username on the forum. That's just step one. I love the forums, and I have a special place for them because I was a forum user in other things before I became a merc. I was a costumer before getting involved with this, and I didn't even know the mercs existed until I went to that panel in Portland, Oregon, and saw Concordia Clan down there, and I'm like, oh my God, there's a whole organization of this. This is awesome. I'm all over it. So the first thing I did after that convention is I went home and signed up on the forum, got an account, and looked and went, oh man, the Mando that I already made out of EVA foam floor mats isn't going to fly. So I started diving into the forums and learning and finding out what was acceptable, what wasn't. And because I really didn't have much of a semblance of a clan up here, it was a dead clan for the most part. I fell in love with the forums because everything I did during my whip.
There's so much good stuff on the forum.
I would post like, hey, this is what I want to do. Here's my concept. And I got feedback like, hey, that's a great idea. You can't do this. You can do that. Here's how you would do this. And my first whip is like 17 pages long because of the engagement. And it was great. And I relied on that and the feedback that I got through that whip to build my first approved costume.
Here's the thing about the forum versus something like Facebook too, is that like you're going to get more instant gratification style comments and feedback on Facebook than you're going to get on the forums. But on the forums, you have stuff you can go back to. Yes. And you also have the advantage of having people who are there for a purpose. It's not just somebody who's just scrolling through on their phone like, oh, that's neat, I'm going to comment on this. Yeah. These are people that specifically sought out your work in progress thread because they want to see what you're doing, and they have questions or comments or concerns or tips or criticisms about exactly what it is you're doing. It is focused, directed feedback at you about your thing, and it's something you can go back to later. So, like imagine a world in which everybody has a whip, and you see somebody's kit, and you like the way they made their gauntlets, or the way they have their half chaps, or the way they have their knees mounted. You have questions about how they did it. In theory, it's in their whip. You can just go look, and there's how'd they do it right there. They just told you how they did it. Now you can go do it, or you can look up the skills you need to go do it yourself.
And the thing about quick interactions like we have on faster platforms than the forums is that while that's like super convenient, they're basically as fleeting as they are convenient. So like you said, there's a bit of a permanence to the forums, and I hear the complaint occasionally that the forums are difficult to navigate, but that has vastly improved. Honestly, it's actually pretty easy to navigate the forums nowadays.
The war college is great.
Yeah, with the work that like the education team has done and the app team has done, and various teams. Now the education team has a welcome team. It's everybody is pointing you at the right direction. If you ask a question, it's going to be answered. Yep. And then you'll always have a reference, for the answer to your question. So that's the great thing about the forum. And like you said, everyone is geared towards helping you, making sure you get approved. It's really just a wonderful build environment, especially when you are in your actual clan.
I'm going to say, in defense of the forums, that this is a good place if you don't know if there's a clan near you. This is where you're going to find out where they are.
The forums are the only place that you can get any actual official information from the club.
Yep.
Yep.
People can tell you something on Facebook all they want or in Facebook Messenger, unless you can put it on the forums and say, here's a link to this guy telling me X, Y, or Z. It's pics or it didn't happen. Forums or it doesn't count.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All official communication comes through the forum.
All official communication. Even our communication through Facebook and Facebook Messenger is all directed back to the forums.
Yep.
Here's a brief rundown of what's going on. Follow this link for all of the information.
Yeah. It's not saying that you can't use social media to draw attention back. But it will never replace the official communication that is always through the forum.
Absolutely.
Facebook chat for every team I've ever been on, and it's always been, hey, go check this out. Here's the link. Here's a quick rundown. Please go read this and then sign off and reply with a read and understood. And then the information is disseminated where it needs to be.
Absolutely. And we use all sorts of social media platforms in order to facilitate, communication and to get our organizational message out to the masses. But like I said, everything official happens on the forum and comes from the forum.
So the message here is create a username and password for the forums.
Yep.
Use them and learn to navigate them well.
Yeah.
All right. So it's not in every clan, but in the majority of clans, they will have some sort of new member welcome thread or welcome thread for recruits. So it's if your clan has that, you find your clan, you go to your clan board, you see that sort of message. It's usually sticky to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And you click on that, and that will be all the things that your clan wants you to know before you really get started. And most of those threads, they will tell you that you need to start a whip or a work in progress thread. These are immensely beneficial, okay? Not just for yourself, but for anyone else that's going to be looking at your thread or seeking information.
Mm-hmm.
So the ways that it can benefit you, okay? It can help you keep track of your progress. It can help you remember where maybe you had made a mistake in the past when you were building your armor. It can help you avoid pitfalls. It can help you with morale to see how far you have gone.
Mm-hmm.
But on a larger scale, it can also help you when you apply. If the app team has any questions about your build, the way things were constructed, what something is made out of, what type of strapping you're using, stuff like that, they can reference your whip thread. And instead of holding you back over something that might have been a question, if they answer that question and it's acceptable, then they don't have to bother holding your application back over that.
That's a great key point too. So many times while on the app team, we'd go to the whip and check it out and see, oh, we thought that in this one picture that we get to see, judge your entire kit on, this one picture, it looks like it's something it's not. You go into the whip and go, oh, that clears everything up. You're good to go. Then we don't even have to bother asking you or bothering, reaching out to your Rusalor like, hey, have you seen this in person? Is this actually an approvable material? Is this cardboard? What is this? What's going on here?
Yeah, I can't count the number of times on the app team that's come in absolute handy. Just it's please make one.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
where would they put them?
They would put them in their clan boards. Now it's a little different because some people opt to put their stuff in special boards, general armor in certain categories. But from a personal standpoint, I cannot stress enough how important it is to put it in your clan board, because that is where you are going to get the most hands-on and direct help towards making you an official member. Now, I understand that not everyone's goal with every kit they build is to become official. But if your goal is to become official, then I would recommend putting it in your clan board. That's where your Rusalors and your Rusalor Solis is going to see your whip and be able to comment on it.
That's a great point, especially if you have a large clan. If you don't have a large clan, if you're in a smaller size clan, you're not going to get a whole lot of feedback if you do it that route. One thing that Gurek did, and we did out of necessity because we're relatively small, is we have a single thread that contains links to every single whip for every single recruit and OM. So every whip that this clan has ever written can be found in one thread All you have to do is go to the whip thread master list or whatever it's called, and then you've got access to every single costume tutorial that has been approved or is currently being worked on right now in the clan. All of my stuff was put in the armor construction section on the main page of the forum because I didn't know that we had a clan. I didn't know it existed. But either way, getting more eyes on it is always better. Get as many eyes on it as you can, and it definitely is, especially if you have a large clan. Make sure that your officers are involved in your whip. And parts of, like, I refer to this all the time. People always ask, "Oh, how did you do your rangefinder?" And because I did such a detailed whip on how I can take this off for travel, and it's held on with magnets. I've been asked so many times, "How did you do that with your helmet?" And I will send a link with my whip on it.
So for people who, I have two things. One, let's talk photos in your whip, and let's talk about people who are maybe a little scared to do whips and what you would say, like they're worried about maybe people picking on them.
I would say that you should not be afraid of being picked on, especially in your clan boards.
If you are picked on, people will leap to your defense too.
Oh,
but people
yes.
do not tolerate that type of stuff. It is a very open, very inclusive, very positive. It's all good things. Like if somebody says something snarky or mean or unnecessary about your kit, like everyone is going to just dogpile that person. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
99% of the people you encounter are going to be supportive. They're looking for your whip because they're interested. No one is going on the forums trying to find who they're going to bash today.
No.
Yeah.
That's not allowed. That's a violation of the code of conduct. And
their regional commander will smack them down.
Very low tolerance for shenanigans like that.
Absolutely. And those boards are all moderated. If anytime somebody reports something, it's almost immediately taken care of. And we do not play around. We don't foster any sort of bullying environment at all.
No, we want to see more people involved, and just, again, lead through positivity. Just encourage those folks, and the second someone starts, tiptoeing down the wrong way, hey, anyway.
So photos. I know that's a concern. I've heard. So I'm asking you guys again, our panel of experts.
I use Imager. I used to use PhotoBucket, but the great PhotoBucket scandal of 2018 kind of killed everything.
Imager's so easy to use too.
It is. Imager's super easy to use, and it's a photo hosting site. You upload your photos to Imager. I make everything on Imager private. That way, it's not just public and people voting on it and commenting and being. That's where the internet's full of wonderful people. No one there is a jerk at all. So I just put everything private. And then when you host it, there's the BBC code link, or BCC, whatever it is, the B's and C's. It's the one that has brackets with image and then image. It's everything you need right there. Just the one that says BBC code or BCC code, whatever it is. That is all that you need. Copy, paste, boom, done. So simple. There's a photo. It's easy.
There's also this beautiful little button called preview. So if you post your link in there and you click preview, and on the preview that pops up at the top of the page, you don't see your photo, it is not linked.
We covered that pretty dang thorough.
I feel like if you're going to post a ton of photos, because sometimes people do a photo dump with their whips just because, real life happens and they don't have the time to update it consistently. If you're going to do a photo dump just for maybe your own benefit or other people's benefit, they may be looking at your whip. If it's something that you're doing that is a little bit more complex or unusual, to put an explanation with your photos on top of it, because
label your stuff.
Oh yeah, and pictures may say 1,000 words, but sometimes we don't know what we're looking at.
Sometimes we need words too.
Yeah, words also say words.
That's good. Thank you, guys.